Upset alert concern meter is going to spike on several of these games generated by Flex Power. Flex Power has done a really good job of generating upsets by the, not dozens yet. Who knows? After this week, it may be in the dozens. But they've been generating some upsets. They can also generate your home, anything you need power generated to. But they can really generate some upsets here. And I got to start with one that I have trouble seeing. I couldn't even get Jesse to sell me on this one. Indiana is at Penn State Saturday. It's an early kickoff. Of course it is. Indiana's minus 14.5. This one's a little different dynamic. It's been a long time since we thought about a Penn State home game, and I asked the following question. Is the crowd really going to be a factor? But I'm asking you, Penn State home game, 148,000 seats in that place. Is the crowd really going to be a factor? Hey, if it's close at halftime, yeah, no one's going home. But I was telling Jesse, hey, look, I know how hard it is to get in and out of that place, Immunity, and I know how turned off the people are up there by the way the season's gone. So if you're a season ticket holder, you're going to show up, but for the first time in the back of your mind, there's this voice that says, if it's a 3-possession game at halftime, am I hitting the exit door? Am I going to try and get home? Am I going to get back down to Harrisburg, back over to York or Johnstown? Am I going to beat the traffic? Beat the traffic vibes could be very high in State College this weekend. Now, what if it's tied at halftime? What if Penn State has the lead? That's why we're talking about it on Upset Alert. It just doesn't profile as the kind of week where the Indiana third down magic is going to cease. What is that? Well, it's the biggest paper pop in this game. Indiana is number 1 in the country in third down conversion percentage to the point where you wonder if they have a cheat code on the sport. Penn State's defense, 103rd. In third down conversion rate allowed. So if you can't convince me that that's going to just like invert itself magically, I have a tough time seeing this. Penn State's backup quarterback is alleged to be a wide receiver right now, by the way. Then again, if they get to the backup quarterback, it's a moot point anyway. Ohio State had 3 cat-buster plays against Penn State last week. So theoretically, you could say, hey, if Penn State has turnover luck and they have good defensive third down efficiency and also they make Indiana work to earn it and they don't give up the easy over-the-top cat-buster plays, then maybe they can win. Did you notice how many things had to go right? What a world we live in now, where all that has to go right for Penn State to have an outside shot puncher's chance at home against Indiana. I'm down on this, is what I'm saying. Jesse, I know I told you it's a 3. I just told you to make feel good. I got like a 2 on it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Then again, that's the anatomy of an upset. You're not supposed to see it on the horizon. Next up, Starkville, Mississippi. The boys at Mississippi State are fresh off their first conference win over Jeff Lebby. We know that on this show because we picked them outright. Not that we deserve a ton of credit, we deserve a little bit of credit. So they come home now. Georgia is a 9.5-point favorite, according to FanDuel, at Mississippi State. Georgia, some people think, is sleepwalking. I don't think that. I think Georgia just is who they are this year. They are a team that has to play a lot of these close games. 4 of their 5 SEC games have been decided by 1 possession. Oh, wait, that's not Georgia. That's Mississippi State. 2 of these. We got 2 one-possession kings in this game. It's just one of them keeps winning them, and the other one has lost them until last week. So, yeah, I just read the stat. I'll read it again. Just know that this is Mississippi State. Yeah, the Bulldogs. Well, Mississippi State Bulldogs. 4 of their 5 SEC games decided by 1 possession. Now, Georgia, 4 of their 6 have been decided by 1 possession, and the Auburn game's the outlier there, or one of them. And the Auburn game feels like more of a one-possession game than some of the other ones that were one-possession games. So I say all that to say this could be a very close game. Mississippi State is 35th in the JP poll, to give you an idea. They're ahead of Georgia Tech in the JP poll. They're being badly overlooked because of their record. It's not a bad team. They also scored 38 on Texas. You know, so if Georgia comes in there and they don't get pressure, and Mississippi State starts moving the ball, I got good news for you. You can score on Georgia. And I got good news for you, Mississippi State. You're very comfortable playing one-possession games. I've got bad news for you. Brandon Walker's come into the game. I would have made this a 9 on the upset alert concern meter. But now that we know Walker's going to be at the game, I can't put it any higher than a 6.5. And so I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't the case. We remember what happened when you had Texas beat until a certain someone went horns down with time left. I don't want to rehash that. That's very clickbaitish. We don't want to do that. We don't traffic in that around here. Next up, Syracuse at Miami. There's just no way. Right? There's just no way. Miami's favored by 28.5 at home. Where are they mentally? Now, I'm somewhat of an expert on Syracuse football because I watched the entire game against North Carolina. North Carolina is bad. Syracuse is terrible. And I watched some of the worst football I've seen played in a long time. And after that game, where North Carolina won convincingly, might I add, and I think Syracuse's only score was defensive. Their only touchdown was defensive. So after all that, Fran Brown made some staff changes up there. They got to go down to Miami. Theoretically, Miami's in a big bounce-back spot here. Theoretically. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win pulling away. I'm not going to put anything bigger than 0.5 on the upset alert concern meter. This is the kind of game, though, that even if they win and it's ugly, I still have concern about Miami. So that Stanford game, as it turns out, final score is 42-7, but they pulled away and covered late in that one. So even that one wasn't quite the blowout that it looks like. Will this game be a blowout? We'll see. Next up, hey, wait just a second. I appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year-round. All right, back to the video. Right here in Nashville, Tennessee, Auburn taking on Vanderbilt. Our Vanderbilt Commodores are laying 6.5. Now, this is the post-freeze era for Auburn. And we know what comes post-freeze, right? Thaw. And while I have no idea how that relates to football, I just wanted to fit it in so that if Auburn ends up winning this game, we can maybe use it as a soundbite. Maybe the Auburn creative team just weaves it into the post-game cinematic recap. I don't know. But Vandy, good run D, 17th in the country. They struggle against the pass, but you know who else struggles with the pass? Auburn. So I'm not quite sure how they weaponize that or how they leverage that to their advantage. Vanderbilt's still a playoff team, guys. They're sitting right there in the thick of the playoff hunt. In fact, I think if they win out, they're in the playoff. So this is one game they got to play. I think they got Kentucky. There it is. Yeah, they got Kentucky next week, and then they've got at Tennessee. That's how they end the season. They play a very low margin for error style football. So does Auburn. The total in this is 45.5, and frankly, I think even that is a little high. DJ Durkin wants this job. He wants to be considered for this job. I don't know what kind of, they call it the dead cat bounce out there. Some people do the bounce that you get after you fire a coach, which is antithetical to what common sense tells you would happen. I don't know what that's going to be here. I just think Vandy showed they're not checked out of anything. They almost came from behind to tie Texas last week. So I'm going to put a 7 on this game. Limited possessions, anything could happen. I'm going to put a 7 on it, but I'm not betting it or anything like that. Next up, this one's pretty low, but it's not 0. Navy is at Notre Dame. And this is not being played at a neutral site. This is Notre Dame Stadium. Sun's going to set like 2:30 in the afternoon. Notre Dame favored by 26.5. As usual, Navy has the top rushing offense in the country and the number 130 passing offense in the country, which means if Notre Dame does what they did last year, get a big lead, it's over. They won 51-14. They won 42-3 the year before that. They just had a weird game at Boston College. Notre Dame, the kicking situation is atrocious, and there's really no help in sight. If they have to rely on kicking to beat Navy, we've got much bigger issues here. I don't think they will. They've got a game against Pitt on deck, yet I'm not quite sure it's the look-ahead spot that, the rankings would indicate. I think Notre Dame will be okay here. I'm told they're one of the hottest teams in the country. I'm told they're in ascension mode. I don't necessarily disagree. So I'm going to put a 2 on this, and that's mainly because I'm patriotic. And I don't let Navy be anywhere below a 2 on the upset alert concern meter. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. Don't feel great about it. Next up, maybe this one will. Wake Forest at Virginia. Virginia also in the thick of the playoff hunt. They're 8-1. They're undefeated in conference play, even though they've lost to an ACC team. Again, don't ask, don't ask, don't ask. What is left of Wake Forest after Mike Norvell took them and tossed them in the wood chipper last week? 42-7. 42-7 was the final there. I don't love the Wake Forest matchup. They need to flip the turnover margin here. That's really what they need to do. They need to flip what we hope is a randomized statistic, because one of them is 97th in turnover margin, that'd be Wake, and the other is 10th, that'd be Virginia. So you just need to be +2 turnovers randomly on an afternoon in a matchup where you're not good at that and they are good at that, because if you do that and you got Virginia breathing that November air, it's the thinnest air in the sport. Contending for the first time, competing for a playoff spot for the first time, and now you're in November and you're favored and people are talking about you on shows like this. And sometimes it can go to your head, and sometimes you just play a little bit tighter, and you got a team that got left for dead and they got body bagged last week, and then they unzipped the body bag and they're up 23-20 in the fourth quarter. It's good enough for me to put a 6 on the upset alert concern meter. I'm going to be watching this one closely.